Hey there guys, my name's Jordan and I love building Lego models and I also love making my own creations. So today we're going to combine those two things and make a really awesome Star Wars Lego Hoth themed build in celebration of May the 4th. For us, I think we got to go for that iconic scene of the rebels fighting off the AT-ATs in that big Battle of Hoth. There's a lot that goes into a build like this, and one of the things we're going to need is a lot of Lego models. So let's bring them all out. Alrighty guys, so we've got a lot of sets here that we're going to be including in the build. We've got two AT-AT walkers, this one being the newest edition, and then a slightly older version as well. We've got the AT-ST walker that was released at the start of January 2022, and then a couple of snow speeders, and all of these really awesome minifig battle packs that came out at the start of the year as well. We've got, of course, the Snow Trooper packs that come with a Snow Scout Trooper and three Snow Troopers. And then we've also got the Rebel fighter packs that are really good as well, coming with 3 minifigs, a little radar dish, and some gun turrety things. These are gonna make the perfect boxes and parts to fill out the scene. One of the most important parts of building a MOC is designing it and figuring out exactly how you're gonna do the whole process. Obviously, there's no one way to go about doing this, but my process is getting a piece of paper and sketching the whole thing out. So let's clear these off and I'll show you how we go. We're gonna need a sketch pad and we're gonna need some pens. And because we're gonna be building on 4 base plates, we will just draw out one big rectangle. Now, imagining that there's about 4 of them, so boom, 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 boom. Yep, that's exactly equal, guys, exactly equal. But this is just a really rough sketch to get it in our heads as to what's gonna go where. We've got 2 AT-ATs and they're gonna take up a lot of the room in the scene. So I wanna keep them towards the back side of the scene where possible. So if we put one AT-AT here, and then I wanna have the other AT-AT actually fallen down within the scene. So if we just put that there as well, you can see that they're going to take up the majority of the first 2 base plates. So that dictates pretty much everything else that's going to go in the scene. We've got our 2 snow speeders, so we'll put them in the middle as if they've just fought the AT-AT that's gone down. And then let's put the other one in about the same spot. Of course, we've got the AT-ST as well, which is a consideration. Now, I want that to be as if it's like trying to save that AT that's fallen over. So it's gonna be jumped right in front of it, trying to fight off this snow speeder. That's the majority of the larger Lego models that are gonna make up the scene. Now, because of the Battle of Hoth having the big slope that goes up into the entrance, it's gonna be a little bit tight to fit that in the scene. So we're probably not gonna have the actual gates that are at the Battle of Hoth. We're just gonna have the trenches and stuff that would go in front of it and a little slope as if it's going up to that main port. This is a top-down version of what's going in the frame. So now just below it here, I'm gonna draw out roughly how I would like the scene to be laid out geographically. So all the bumps, all the curves, roughly to get a sense of where to put them in the scene, I just draw them out. So these sketches don't have to be super artistic, don't have to be perfect. It's just a sense of location within the scene, for me at least. You can go into as much creative detail as you like whenever you're doing your own type of thing, but this is just my process. Now, I want to have a little bit of curvature throughout the back side of the scene, but to save on Lego bricks, around the AT-ST, we'll just keep that as flat as possible. We'll have that main curve starting to go up to the back of the scene there. Put our little trench in here, and you start to get an idea of what's going to go where within the scene. Alrighty, so this should probably be all of the parts that we need to make this Hoth MOC. It's obviously going to take a lot of white bricks. So we've got all of these bricks here, this one here, and this giant bag of 2x4s to really make sure that we have enough parts. We're going to be spreading this out over the 4 base plates. So let's stop talking about it and get into the build. Now that we've got everything laid out a little bit better, you can see that we're going to be working across these 4 base plates. So we've got 192 studs long ways and then 48 studs across for the whole build. We're going to be keeping everything for the AT-ATs on these first 2 base plates, and then the main minifigs and everything else in the battle will be up this side. Instead of using all of our premium white bricks, which is going to be what keeps that Hoth feel across the whole build, we're going to use some assorted coloured parts just to lay out the foundations so that the white bricks can go over the top and keep those white parts for where it's really necessary. Here you can see there's 2 different ways that I've built these sections. Over here we've got a really well thought out building style that allows you to really calculate exactly how many parts and stuff that you're going to be using in this area of the build. And then over here I've gone with a little bit more of a sporadic layout to show that this is really ineffective to use your parts. I've laid out this really big grid, which is great to have structure and support in there, but it's just way too dense and it takes up too many parts. So if you're going to be making a MOC like this, I don't recommend using this build technique, and I'm even going to go back and redesign this now that I know how the rest of the model is going to go. I have the main 2 mountains completely built out now, and I can get a general sense of the scope of what this thing's really going to look like. I've put a little trench in here for the rebels to be fighting back at the Empire. So over here, I just want to make one more small mountain just on the corner, and then we'll go ahead and skin the entire model. Now that I've got all of the foundations completely laid out, you can tell that there's a lot of color going on and everything is quite sporadic looking. That's okay though, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be coming across the entire model, and we're going to be using these 2x4 white bricks, as well as a whole heap of white 1x4s and 1x6 plates to just go across and skin the entire model, so you won't be able to see any of this color that is currently on the base plate. So before I go too crazy with adding the white layer over the top of everything, right now is the perfect opportunity to go in and pre-install some of our lighting components. I've got a whole heap of our black connecting cables here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run them through some of the channels that I've created in the support structure, so that later in the next video, when we put all of our lights in the model, it can actually light up with some really minimal wires. So because we've got all of these channels already provided in the model, what I'm doing is I'm just laying the wire in between the channels, and that's dictating where I'm going to end up putting my model later on. So once all of this is run, I'll connect it all up to this little power board just here, and then connect everything all together at the end. Alrighty, so with those last couple bricks, we have finished the base of Hoth. This is roughly what the whole terrain is going to look like. Now we just need to go in and add a heap of detail. What's really important, for me at least, is to go in and put in some detail in the actual trench itself. So right here, I've got a little mock-up of what the trench should look like on the inside. Just using a couple snot pieces on the side there and these curved slopes, we're able to create a nice flush seal on the bottom. So that's what we're going to have to do across the entire trench just here. Well guys, the build is at 90% done and I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. The details like the AT-AT footprints and the trench are exactly how I envisioned them. This thing has really taken a lot of time to build out, and we actually had to go to Bricklink and get some parts in a bit of a rush job because this thing has taken a lot of parts and a lot of time. Overall though, I'm super happy with how it turned out, and I can't wait to take it to the next level in our next video where I put in all of the Lego sets, all of the minifigures, and of course some of our lights. So I'll see you in that video. Make sure you're subscribed. Ciao for now.